Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make a clipping mask. So I'm going to go into my downloads folder. Let's see what I actually have in here. I have it on list right now, so everything is just in a big list, but I can change that if I want and make it icons so I can actually see what's in here. So I think I'll open this file here, which I downloaded from a website online called Unsplash. This is a good place to go if you're looking for high resolution, good quality images to use. I mean, we could use this one too, so you would just select this download, pops into my downloads folder. I can also open this one up from Unsplash. It's in my downloads folder. Let's see, let's look for that. It's right there. So I have it on icons now instead of list, which makes it a little easier to find some things because you can actually see what things look like in here. So if you push open, you can open up that file. So one thing you might want to do when you first find your files that you're going to use in your Photoshop project, you might want to go to image mode and change these to CMYK so they're ready for print, because we're going to be printing these. So push OK. So those both are now, if we check, they're in CMYK. There's a little checkbox next to CMYK there on this image. And then if we hop to the other image here, image mode, we're also in CMYK. So to select things, I've showed you a couple times in class, but we can use the quick selection tool. It's going to become a good friend of ours. And we can just kind of select around this image, and I did end up picking up some of her hair, so I'll use this magnifying glass. We'll kind of zoom in to see where we're at with this, how well we did with our selection. Maybe we will get back on our quick selection tool. I think I want to subtract this part of her hair from the selection. Just doesn't look quite right to me. Hair can be one of the hardest things to clip, so so let's go Command 0 so I can just kind of zoom out a little bit. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So if we do a select and mask right away, you'll see that we're actually clipping out the inverse of what we actually want to clip out. See, you can see she's all faded out. We actually want to clip out, I was hoping to clip out my background, so I'm going to go to cancel and do select inverse so I can get her selected, and then I do select and mask. So now I actually have the image the way I want it to be. I actually have the background masked out, and then so I think I want my transparency all the way up. Actually, no, I guess that doesn't really matter. Edge detection is right here, so sometimes a good thing to do is to bring it up to about 4 pixels. It kind of helps with the edges of your selection. If I keep going, it really kind of starts to feather it out, which I kind of actually, since it's her hair, that's really working pretty nicely on this image. So I am going to actually put this up to 65 pixels. It just kind of depends on your image, so play with that radius, because that might make a big difference for you. Feathering is sometimes a good idea. You know, you don't want to go too far with it. Like if I turn it way up, it starts to like really kind of feather out her whole face, which we don't want to happen. I typically just like bring it up to like, I don't know, somewhere around like 5 or 6 maybe. I don't normally change these too much. The shift edge can help you if you need it. I don't think it's really doing much for me now. You can try playing around with this as well. I think 0 is fine. I wonder if you can invert your selection right here too. So if I push that, oh, yep, that's a nice little feature. So you don't have to go to select inverse. You can just push invert, which is nice. I do want her to be my main subject here. And then you need to open this output settings to get to layer mask. So, and then if we push OK, there's our layer mask. And you can see we still have our original photo here down in our layers, but there's just a mask over the background now. And the black is to conceal. The black conceals and the white is what is revealed. So if we want to further conceal this blue color, we can actually use, I believe we can use our paintbrush tool. I haven't done this for a bit, but so if we want to use black to conceal this blue color, we can do that. So we click on our paintbrush tool. We're actually going to paint on our picture. We want it to have a fill color of black. So this frontmost box should be black when you're on your paintbrush tool. And you can change the size of your paintbrush here. You can use a softer brush with like a feathered edge. That will be, you know, a little bit softer looking. You can use a hard brush. It just kind of depends on what you need for your project. I'm going to use a soft one since I've already kind of feathered out the edges as is. This is a really small brush size. As you can see, when I drag it over onto my canvas, it's teeny. So we'll just make it a little bit bigger. That might be too big. This is going to be difficult to do. But see, if we drag onto our canvas, we can kind of start to bring in that black color with the, and it's not showing up as black, it's just concealing. It's working with the mask that we have currently. This works really well for some selections, but as far as hair goes, I'd have to say it's kind of clunky. Another thing you can do to select a certain color, so like all of this blue color is really what I want to get rid of in this photo. There's not really any other blues that I don't want. So if we do a select color range, one second here, I think I need to be on this. So make sure you're on this when you do this. Select color range. We can select this blue color. We can change the fuzziness right here. So you can see the more I do, the more it actually ends up picking up, which we only want to get that blue kind of behind her hair. And there's some a little bit in here, just a teeny bit. So I'll select this color again, and then I'll kind of bring up what I'm wanting it to select. It's pretty sensitive, so it does a pretty good job of getting that blue. There's even a little bit of it around her head. So if we push OK, that should bring in these dancing ants that are selecting all of that blue color. And then if you push just delete on your keyboard, you can delete out a lot of that blue. There's still some left in the image. And I'll do a Command Z, so the file undo. You can also come up here and go back. And maybe I will do, let's see, what did I do? I gotta find it. Kind of just decided last minute I wanted to try and find, I think it's maybe in here. No, maybe not. Oh, it's here. So if you go to select and modify, and you can go to feather, and you can feather out these sides on the edges on your selection here. So I'll do like, yeah, 5 pixels is a pretty good amount. Maybe higher actually. Let's do 9 pixels and push OK. And so that'll kind of feather out your selection, which will probably work well on this image. You don't always want to use feather, but I think since this is hair, that'll help a little bit. So if we push delete and then do a Command D, you know, that's looking pretty good. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. So if we use our eraser tool, we can also kind of like just erase, make sure we're on, you know, not on our layer mask. You can actually erase stuff too off of your file to kind of clean it up if you wanted to. So that's another option. Eraser tool is kind of not always used very often because once you erase something, it's gone forever, and it's gone. So that's what's nice about the clipping mask, is you can just delete this and then have your original file back to the way it was. So if we delete that, oh, well, I ended up deleting my selection from my actual background, but you can see we kind of deleted our layer mask and we're back to where we were, other than the fact that I did use I did delete part of this when I selected out using the select color range. I'll do a Command Z to bring back my layer mask. You can also, come back here and step back and hit the history. So that's just kind of a quick rundown on how you might create your layer mask and how you might select some of your things in here using the quick selection tool. So say I want to grab everything in here, select and mask. If I want to invert this, you can do it right here, I guess. So that's kind of neat. And remember, you can change some of this stuff in here, and it might help out, some of what you're doing here. And then just make sure your output selection is on layer mask. Push OK, and there you have a layer mask. So anyway, that's it. All right, thanks. Bye.